Oh, he broke the f***ing bed. Oh shit. What the? Here I am, down to 2 hearts against the Ender Dragon in hardcore Minecraft. I'm about to lose the world that I spent hours in. But how did I even get to this point? Allow me to take you back. It all started with an idea. I wanted to make a Minecraft video. I never even intended to make a hardcore world to begin with, but last minute before generating a world, I decided to switch it to hardcore mode. I spawned in a snowy area, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Up until this point, I have zero experience with hardcore Minecraft, let alone survival Minecraft in general. I spent a few days in this world grinding, building, getting new items, but once I was comfortable and about to beat the Ender Dragon, this happened. Oh my god, I don't want to do this. I died. I spent a total of 96 days in this world. I think in the future I'm going to make a video entirely dedicated to this run, but that's not what today's video is. 2 days later, I generate a new world, spawn in, and I can already tell that this world is going to be amazing. Lucky for me, there was a village right near my spawn, so I immediately get to looting it. I was getting pretty lucky with the loot. I found some emeralds in this chest, and then more in this chest. After all that looting, it's finally time to break my first tree, and then hit the mines. I made my first tool, and then I started mining for some cobblestone. After that mildly good start, oh, I'm gonna die. I died. So I start up a new world, and it looks fine. So I start chopping up trees again. And luckily enough, there's a village near my spawn once again. I loot up the village, same as I did before. And I also find this ruined nether portal, which has some cheeky things in it. I then start running around stick in hand, and I come across this giant cave. I make a mental note to come back to it later. I keep exploring, and I see a village in the distance. Now is around the time where I realize that I really like this spawn. I went through and looted this village as well, and while doing that, I noticed something in the distance. Oh, this is the world. After hitting the hay, I headed towards the cherry blossoms, took a few samples, and headed back to the village. I figure I better make a house before I die and lose this beautiful world, so I get to building a house. Oh wait, I messed it up. Would you look at that? I then went crazy on these seeds, found this silly little cave, and then made a little farm. I needed some materials, so I went back to the silly cave. I ended up finding a lot of coal, and I even found my first couple pieces of iron. With all of the coal that I found, I was able to make a bunch of torches and light up my compound. I then went on to build this ugly bridge. I went back to the giant cave from earlier, and I decided to explore it. How can I get down there efficiently? I then went ahead and mined every single piece of ore I could find in this cave. I then dug into the side of the cave and made this little shack. And just like that, I have full iron armor. Now that I'm decked out, it's finally time for me to explore the rest of the cave. So I go down. How the f did you see me? Where? Oh, hello. And down. And down. Until this happened. Yes! Diamonds. Yes! 3 diamonds. 4 diamonds. 5 diamonds. I was quite satisfied with my loot, so I headed back up to the surface before I lost my world. Cha-cha. I think it's time to start a cow farm. Cow farm, cow farm. But it wasn't quite time for that just yet. I started mining some of the trees I planted earlier in order to get more wood. I made some diamond tools, and then I headed over to a cave that was behind my house. The idea was to get some dripstone so I could make an infinite lava generator. This is so I wouldn't have to rely on coal anymore as a fuel source. Now it is time to make the cow farm. I started by clearing a little bit of land, and then I threw up some fences. One problem, I don't have any cows, so I went to go find some. Oh hey, would you look at that? Now I have cows, sheep, and chicken. Totally cool! Now that I have a cow farm and I also have a sugarcane farm, I decide it's time to make an enchanting table room. When I play Minecraft, I don't just like to make a room, I like to make its own designated house. And look at that! all done.
The idea came from the internet.
Now is when I decide I want to make a bigger house. And so for the next 3 entire hours, I build a house. I'm going straight off the noggin on this one. I had no idea what I wanted this to look like. I really wanted to make something original, so it meant more to me. So that's exactly what I did. I just built. With no clear image in my mind, I did end up making a lot of mistakes, which cost me quite a bit of time, but I didn't really mind, because in the end, I still think that this house turned out to look amazing. I decided to make a little race car bed, and then I tear down my old house. I then decided to put some basic enchantments on my armor and my tools, and everybody knows what the one enchantment you need on every single tool and armor is, and that's mending. The best way to get mending books is through villagers, so I make this ugly place for them to live on. The original idea was to make a giant villager head behind it, but then I ended up not doing that. Transporting the villager wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I kind of just dug a path for him and it worked. I got him over to my platform, and this is when I started having trouble. I kept messing up and he kept escaping. He even ran into my house this one time, and then once I got him back, I destroyed a block that kept him in. After finally getting him back, I managed to get a mending book. And then I came to the realization, I don't have any emeralds. So I went back to the village, snagged another villager, brought him back. And now I have a villager who I can trade sticks for emeralds. However, I didn't notice he dropped off the back right there, and I had no idea where he went. You can see me looking around frantically as if I just magically lost a villager, and I ended up just forgetting about it. I assumed he despawned. I call off the manhunt and I go to sleep in my race car bed. The next day, I'm going down to my basement when I hear... You can see me freeze when I heard it. He ended up getting a job right at my lava generator, and I was able to bring him back and finally employ him where he was supposed to be. I was so tired of urbanizing my base that I decided to take a mining trip. It ended up being very successful. I found this abandoned mine shaft and I ended up with a lot of diamonds. So much so that I was able to make a full set of diamond armor and have many left over. Wow, so many diamonds left over. I threw on some basic enchantments on all of my gear, and look how fly I look. I kind of ran out of ideas, so I decided, why not? Let's just go to the Nether. Let's build a Nether portal and just see what's going on. I started out with the slow process of mining obsidian, and then I threw up this handsome Nether portal. The Nether. Flint and steel. Flint and steel. I was a bit worried for my spawn, but by my reaction you can tell that I liked it. Yes, this is just where I wanted to spawn. However, there was a ghast. Oh, The next couple hours I spend exploring the Nether. I foolishly wander around without paying any mind as to where I'm going, and it unfortunately leads to me getting lost. I'm very lost. I didn't even save the coordinates. Shit. Lucky for me, I'm insanely smart, so I devise a plan. Alright, my best hope at this point, if I can't find my way back, I need to find obsidian here. Alright, everything's possible. I can survive here. It's all possible. The plan was simple. I was going to throw gold at piglins until they gave me the amount of obsidian I needed. So I quickly got to work enacting my plan. Let's start getting gold. We'll trade with piglins. He doesn't get mad if he sees me right there, right? He gets mad. If you don't know what the obsidian's for, it's just so I can make a new portal. I figured it would be easier to make a new one than it would be to find my old one. Anyways, now that we got gold, let's have the trading commence. I trapped this dude in a hole and threw my gold inside, and to my luck, I got one piece of obsidian after using around 20 ingots of gold. I didn't realize it was going to be a grind to get 10 pieces of obsidian. I decided it was in my best interest to just explore all around the Nether, since I needed to find another fortress anyway. It seemed like a good idea to just get gold as I went. I only spent a little more time trying to get obsidian. Oh yes. Before I found something shocking. I didn't even realize at first where I was, but once I did, I was so scared. The trauma I faced from losing my last world in a bastion just sent a shock throughout my entire body. I was not ready to lose this world too, but then again, I also knew I had to get my revenge. I hacked and slashed my way at these piglin brutes, and this one kinda just threw himself off the ledge. I then warily made my way into the bastion where this large chest greeted me. I found some pretty decent loot, but what I was really after was the netherite upgrade. That item is pretty much needed if I ever want to get full netherite armor. And I do. But anyway, my heart is pounding, and I find more chests, but I eventually have to head down. There are some piggies guarding the way, of course, so I do my best to take them out. Success! Now it's time for the scary part, which is actually getting into the bastion. While editing, I actually completely forgot about this part. Watch. What was I doing? How does that even happen? Fuck me. This kind of threw me into a situation where I needed to go down and get it. I am really lucky that I didn't just throw it in the giant pool of lava and it instead landed on whatever block this is. Finally now it's go time. After that little heart attack, my fear died down a little bit, but I'm still definitely really scared, since as I say, this is easily the biggest bastion I've ever seen. And that's true. I actually took the opportunity I was given to trade for more obsidian, which honestly is kind of a ballsy move. I then dug into the wall in order to get down without encountering many more enemies. This is a strategy I've done in the past, and it works. However, by the time I got down to the bottom, I realized that it was spawning magma cubes. I had no idea this was even a thing. Oh, hello. I tried to dig underground in order to get to the chests, but I idiotically kept running into lava. I didn't realize that I had a potion of fire resistance in my inventory, so once I figured that out, it was really easy to get to all the loot. And look at that, a netherite upgrade. Lucky enough, in the chests, there was also enough obsidian to make a new portal. So once I grabbed all the loot, I made my way to a safe spot, and then I built a portal. What the? Somehow this portal spawned me in a dungeon. What are the odds? But anyway, I was really glad to be back in the overworld. Alright. I didn't exactly know where my home coordinates were, so I kind of just walked in the direction I expected them to be in, and it was a really long journey. On the way back to my base, I found several things of note. I found this village where I got a bed, and somewhere along the way I got a horse. I kind of missed that part. I got a horse and then dug him into a hole because I couldn't bring him across the ocean. Up until this point, I completely forgot about the horse. Anyway, I also find not one, but 2 ocean monuments in a span of like 300 blocks. After a couple thousand blocks, I spot something. Hip hip hooray, it's my house! What a lovely thing it is to be home. I unpack all my goodies that I got on my adventures, and after doing so, I craft a netherite helmet. This made me get really greedy, and the first thing I did after getting home was leave again. I went straight back to the nether in order to mine for some netherite. However, my pickaxe felt way too slow, and I just didn't have enough XP to enchant it to be any better. So I switched to the bed method, which I actually kind of hate. It did work a little bit, I did get some pieces, but not enough to get a full set of armor. I spent some time trying to get more XP because I really did not like the bed method, and I would rather just have a pickaxe that was more efficient anyway. I slaughtered some animals, I made some books, I traded with my villager to get more XP, but it was still a struggle trying to level up my pickaxe. I decided to just go to the nether and mine what I can with my pickaxe. That way I can get nether quartz and level up. I used the book to get my pickaxe to efficiency 2, and this was enough to allow me to mow through the netherrack. It didn't take me very long to get enough ancient debris to make a full set of netherite armor. Hell yes. I'm an absolute buffoon, and I used the last netherite upgrade on my armor, and this prevented me from crafting any more to use for my tools. Alright, well. Oh, fuck. I went right back to the nether, and this was for 2 reasons. I also had to find a nether fortress in order to get blaze rods, so I can make Eyes of Ender, but it was also so I can find another bastion. Call it luck, call it whatever, but I instantly found a bastion. I hate bastions. I mined my way through the wall to get to the bastion. This one is a lot smaller than the last one I went to, so I'm not as nervous. The piggies must have known I just killed this guy because they start making horribly loud noises. I built my way down to this chest, and look at that! Yet another netherite upgrade. I then spent an awfully long time in the bastion, although nothing of note happens. I barely find any more loot, and I kind of just waste an hour of my life, so feel free to slow down the footage if you want to watch any of it. It's in 100 times speed. I then peace out of the bastion, and after exploring the nether realm for just a little bit of time, I spot something magnificent. Yes, that's right, nether fortress. Bam, complete, checklist done. Blaze spawner. The method I was going to use to get blaze rods was to dig out underneath the spawner and make a little farm kind of thingy. I don't really know. Oh my god. I forgot. As I was digging out underneath the blaze spawner, there must have been a block hole and I just completely fell through it. I then sit in silence for several seconds. Alright guys, this is getting f***ing serious. Alright. Swim to the top, swim to the top, swim to the top, swim to the top. How far down did I go? I honestly thought I was gonna die there, but I made it like pretty much unscathed. My armor's kind of busted. Thank fucking God. Jesus Christ. I was about to kill myself. With that minor hiccup done diddly dealt with, I started getting some blaze rods. Once I got a sufficient amount of blaze rods, I started digging in the direction of my nether portal coordinates. It actually took a while, but I did find my portal. Yes. Alright, we made it. Also, this piglin started charging at me. Awesome. Wow. What an adventure. But the adventure is not done just yet. Now that I have blaze powder, I need to get ender pearls so I can make eyes of ender. So I head to the nether to do just that. I get attacked by the piggy from 13 seconds ago, and then I get to slaughtering enderman. Look at this, I also get the return to sender achievement. While killing enderman, I also decide to go try to find some nether wart. But for some reason, my nether fortress doesn't spawn any, so I'm kinda out of luck here. I then say freak it, let's find the stronghold. Adventuring goes pretty smoothly. I end up in a spruce forest, and it isn't long until I find the stronghold. I end up finding this library, and it has some decent loot in it, but finding the portal room was an absolute struggle. I end up taking a break and looking for the portal room, and I take the time to explore the cave that the stronghold spawned in, and wow, this is quite the cave. This abandoned mineshaft is like the best one I've ever seen. I find so many diamonds, but then I head back to the stronghold. I must have been looking in all the wrong spots because I like instantly found the portal room, and I only need 2 more eyes of ender. So I dig my way up to the surface, make a little platform so I know where the portal room is, and on my way back to my house, I find a pillager outpost. This is pretty cool because now I have access to allays. I honestly don't even know what they do, but they're pretty cute. Once I get back to my base, I go to the nether, because this time I'm really going to get enough ender pearls. When I get back to my base, I spend some time editing my armor. I use some of the templates that I found on my travels, and look at me now. Hot stuff. But while I was having a fun time with my armor, disaster struck. Some zombies got to my villagers, and for some reason, one of them's just gone. I take this opportunity to get the achievement I need. I don't know what it's called and I don't feel like looking it up. But that requires a potion of weakness, and a potion of weakness requires a fermented spider eye, and a fermented spider eye requires a certain type of mushroom. And I don't have that certain type of mushroom, so I have to go find it. And I do. Look at me free my boy. I get a little greedy, buy a few mending books, and a few more. I'm able to level him up all the way, which is pretty cool. I then go AFK for a little bit because I'm waiting for nighttime so phantoms can spawn. I'm trying to get phantom membranes so I can craft potions of slow falling. Once that was dealt with, I headed back to the nether because I still need to get nether wart. I tried my luck at the bastion because I did not feel like finding another nether fortress. And look at this, I fell right into lava. Talk about a heart attack, am I right? There was no nether wart there, so I start exploring the nether some more. I need to find another nether fortress or another bastion, preferably another nether fortress. And as I was fucking mining through the fucking netherrack, I fucking found another fucking nether fortress. I'm so fucking lucky. And look at that, just my luck. Some nether wart. Did somebody say wither skeleton skull? Well, I certainly didn't, but look what I got anyway. After I get back home, I make my potion. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Guys, we made it to the end game. All that's left for me to do is prep for the ender dragon fight, and I do that by mining some quartz in the nether. The idea is to get some levels so I can finish up and get some so I level up my gear, make some new food, do some other things that you can see in this sped up footage, and now I'm here. I'm faced directly at the end portal. And instantly I'm thinking about every single thing that can go wrong. Throughout this run there have been so many good moments. If I lose my world here, everything I've been through would be for nothing. Wait, no. It wouldn't be for nothing. I've had so much fun playing in this Minecraft world, and it's a feeling I haven't had in such a long time when playing Minecraft. I'm ready to face whatever is to come. Time for the ultimate test, and I throw myself into the portal. Julius Caesar famously said when he crossed the Rubicon River, "Alea iacta est." The die has been cast. When I jumped into that end portal, I cast my die. Alright, we're here. The first thing I do is climb all the way on top of a pillar. This way I can knock out the crystals as easy as possible. One by one, I knock the crystals out. And honestly, I impress myself with my aim. I make sure to collect some dragon's breath for the achievement, and now that all the crystals are down, I wait for the dragon to perch. Oh, he broke the fucking bed. Oh shit. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, that's right, I didn't actually die from this. I go back to attacking the dragon, this time actually standing in the right spot, and I get launched up super high into the air. Imagine I didn't have my slow falling potion for that. I get some pretty good damage off on him, and then he throws me back up. Jesus Christ, dude. But look at these sick mid-air shots. He then perches again, and he barely has any health left, but he only stays perched for about a couple seconds before he flies off again. As I'm killing this Enderman, he perches again, and this will be the last time he ever perches. Alright, perched. Just like that, we beat the Ender Dragon. Holy shit. Oh my god, I did it. I actually did it. I beat the Ender Dragon. Boy, was I thrilled. I collect all the XP that he dropped, and I make sure to get the dragon egg. And just like that, my journey comes to an end. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and I do truly hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully more videos will be coming out in the future. Anyway, that's it, bye.